Hey playa, are you super stressed out about school and life and your relationships and you just want to get a better handle on it all? Well, I know 10 specific things that you can do to be less stressed and more mindful to help you tackle the things in your life way better. I'll share those 10 things with you right after this.
This is the Josh Speaks. You're watching the Josh Speak.
For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. And when it comes to being less stressed, there are small little things that you can do day to day to help you kind of get out of that mindset. The first thing you can do is to meditate. A lot of people look at meditation as this weird thing where you sit on the pillow and go, but it doesn't have to be. Meditation could be something as simple as just sitting down one day and focusing on your breathing, being very aware of what's going on around you, kind of letting the moment sink in. And you can do this at any time that you want. For me, I like to meditate when I wash the dishes. I like to focus on the warm water hitting my hands. I like to focus on cleaning the dishes and putting them away, the silence around me, being in that moment. Meditation is something that you can easily do. You just gotta allow yourself to break out of the stigma as to what you think it is and really redefine it for yourself. The second thing you can do is to be present. How many times have you went to travel somewhere and your mind was just not in that moment? You were thinking about a million other things. A test you have to study for, talking to your crush, meeting up with your friends later, but you weren't really kind of actively being in that moment. You weren't feeling your feet touch the ground as you walked. You weren't smelling the air around you. You weren't kind of just feeling your clothes on your body. There's a lot of things you can do to be more present, and part of that is just being aware of what's happening. The more aware you are, the easier it'll be for you to stop worrying and to start just living. The third thing you can do is to watch your urges. We all have minor bad things that we like to do. For me, it's biting my nails. But for some people, it might be other things like kind of scratching their forearm or just kind of indulging in things that they know aren't good for them. The key here is not to just tell yourself you're bad for doing them, but to be mindful, to watch them, to see that whenever you're in that moment doing it, to be aware of it, to recognize and say, hey, I'm doing this right now. Is this something I want to be doing? Is it helpful for me? And if it's not, be okay with the idea of recognizing it and trying your best to move away. You're not going to do it every single time, and you're not going to catch it every single time, but being aware of it will allow you to kind of let it go and stop it even easier. The fourth thing is to watch our expectations. We all carry expectations of other people and of ourselves. Whenever we do something for someone, we want them to react in a certain way, and if they don't, it might make us upset. Or we carry expectations for ourselves where we want ourselves to perform at a certain level, and if we fall short, we feel like we're failures. So, like I said before, you're not always going to catch it and stop it and prevent it from happening, but be mindful. Watch it when it does happen. When you see yourself kind of holding someone else to this expectation level, try to recognize that and try to work on that and tell yourself, hey, I know that I'm doing this and this is something I want to let go. I want to accept people and myself for who we are. And that, oddly enough, leads us into the fifth point, which is to accept people for who they are. We always have this golden standard of how we want people to act, but we have to recognize where everyone is. So for example, if you have a friend that's very grumpy in the morning, maybe it's because they haven't eaten breakfast. Maybe it's because they're worried about something going on at home. Try to accept people where they are. And part of doing that is to kind of learn a little bit more about their story. Learn what they're going through rather than you jumping to conclusions and deciding for them they're a jerk, they're mean, they're a bad person. If you accept people as they are, it becomes way easier to be less stressed out about the things they choose to do in their lives. The sixth thing you can do is to embrace the discomfort that you experience. No one wants to be put in a situation where they're uncomfortable. However, being able to push your boundaries a little bit every single time will actually help you grow as a person. So what that really means is don't get stuck in a lifestyle and in a rut where you're constantly doing the same thing over and over because it's safe and easy. It's okay to be in situations where you feel a little uncomfortable. Sometimes it's good to push yourself because you end up learning on the spot. You end up learning how to manage those type of situations and the type of connections you have with other people. So whether you're uncomfortable around your crush, in front of your parents talking about a certain topic, doing certain things in school, be open to that discomfort and challenge yourself to stretch a little bit more. The seventh thing is to be curious about the world. There's so much out there that you don't know. So being open and inviting to learning new ideas, to challenging your own concepts, and to just being curious about the things you encounter will help you kind of develop a thicker skin and a better sense of being, because you're going to be less stuck in your own ways and more open to the idea of accepting that maybe you're wrong sometimes. Maybe there is something you can learn from someone else, and maybe there are ways for you to actively grow. The eighth thing we can do is to practice gratitude. It can come easy for us sometimes to complain about the things that we don't have and the things that we want, but it's important to be grateful for the things that we do actively have. Recognize that you have a roof over your head. You have parents or people that love you and take care of you. You have shoes you could put on that you can walk and travel to school with, clothes to wear. You can come home at the end of the night and sleep in a bed. Recognizing the importance of these things will help you really take into account, man, life is tough sometimes, but at least I have these basic needs taken care of. And because these basic needs are taken care of, I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to stress out about those things. So practice that level of gratitude and recognize the things that you do have and really, really be aware about them. The ninth thing you can do is to let go of control. I think this is what stresses people out the most. They want to control every setting of their life, how they do in school, what their relationships are like, everything. But the truth of the matter is that you only have so much control over how things work out. The best thing you can do is to try your best to navigate through the situations. You're going to have highs and you're going to have lows. Your pitfalls are not going to be there to define you, but they are experiences that you can learn from and grow from as well. So when you do kind of experience these moments that you're down and you're hurt and you feel like you're at a loss of control, recognize that that's normal. You don't always have to be on top of things 100% and always get them right. That's just not realistic. And the 10th thing you can do to be more mindful and less stressed is to be compassionate, not just towards other people, but also towards yourself. It's okay to check in with yourself sometimes and to ask things like, how am I feeling? Do I need to take a nap? Do I need to go eat? Should I share my feelings with my friends? Check in with yourself and see how you're doing. Also, be compassionate towards other people, recognizing that everyone is doing their best with what they know. Some people are struggling more than others, and it may lead them to react in a negative way or to do something mean. Don't always take everything that happens as direction towards you. Sometimes it's just people kind of letting things out without any kind of thought process to it. So the best thing you can do is to recognize that you don't always have to be perfect. You can fail sometimes. You can mess up. You can miss things. You can forget things. It's okay. As long as you're willing to accept yourself for who you are and be compassionate in how you approach the world, I think you'll eliminate your stress so much more. One of the major reasons why we're so stressed out in the first place is because we're not willing to put ourselves first, to really think about ourselves, to think how we can take care of ourselves. Because when you're able to take care of yourself, you're then able to help other people in this world. Kindness works from inside out. So be willing to spread that kindness as best as you can. But now I want to know, what do you think? What are some of the things that are really stressing you out in life? Leave your comments down below and we'll talk about it. If you're dealing with a stressful situation and you want to talk about it in a more private setting, you can always shoot me a DM over on Snapchat or Instagram. I do my best to answer as many messages as I can. Thank you so much for watching, but remember that the learning doesn't end here. Check out the videos over there on the side if you want to learn a little bit more about mindfulness and meditation, managing stress and anxiety, all these different factors in our lives. These things that are kind of bringing us down are things we can actively work on. So let's work on them together. I want to help you guys get there. As always, love and peace.